As the founder of SMM, Social Media Marketing International, an international social media marketing firm, Christopher is responsible for consulting with clients to ensure their online reputation and internet presence serves their business objectives, such as revenue growth, lead generation, and growing the bottom line. SMM International focuses on managing clients' social media accounts by posting original content, managing incoming messages, and growing their followers. They do all the work for you. I love that. Please do all the work for me. I love that. Since 2013, Christopher and his team have helped over 158 companies just like yours get found online, engage their customers, and make more money. He is a graduate of the Wolf Center for Entrepreneurship, rated number 2 in the United States by Princeton Review. Wow. At the University of Houston CT Bauer College of Business, where he earned a Bachelor of Business Administration in Entrepreneurship. Christopher manages a global team of digital marketers on every major continent to bring you a global perspective on your business. He also spends most of his time traveling and speaking with clients and companies on a mission to help business owners grow their companies. He was recognized as the #1 international bestseller for his book, How to Use Social Media to Grow Your Business and Make More Money. Yay! Where he gives his secrets away for local and online businesses. Due to the book and his clients' results online, Christopher has been featured on live television, radio, and magazine features. His company was recognized as one of the fastest growing companies in America and was most recently recognized as having the most measurable community impact in the United States. Christopher is here again on his mission to help people uncover the untapped potential of social media marketing for businesses, as well as educate people on the impact that they're able to have when we use the power of money and we get in alignment with money. And that's what I'm so excited about having him on today. It's going to be a great show. Christopher, are you ready to come on? Dude, thank you for being on here. This is going to be a blast. I'm so excited. And thank you for taking time out of your schedule. I know we were discussing it earlier, how busy you are. And like we were talking about your rates that you charge for coaching and consulting. I'm like, whoa, blowing my head out of the water. It's awesome, man. So really, really grateful to have you on. And I appreciate that you're so willing to give back to people and contribute to people. And I know that's why we really resonated with each other, is because we have this amazing energy and we want the best for people. So before we dive into this conversation about money, and maybe it's going to come up, I'd love to hear a little bit more about your journey and how you got to where you are today, building this awesome social media marketing international company, and you have other companies as well. So tell us a little bit more about your journey to get here today.
I would love to. And first, I'd love to honor you and thank you so much for having me on your show and making an exception to fit me in because of my schedule. And you're absolutely right. We clicked instantly and resonated because we are on the same mission to help people. I'd love to share with you about my journey in creating my agency. I've noticed something with every single person I've ever met, and that's everyone wants to make a difference. And when you think about what your life is meant for, a lot of people, some people know instantly what they want to do. Some people, from the time they're young, they know they want to be a baker and they want to have a bakery and they want to make baked goods, and that's like their mission, right? Now, I don't know about you. I didn't have that clarity. I wanted to change the world. And when I was young, I experienced financial contrast. And what that means is I learned very early on what it was like to not have money and not have resources. A lot of people would call that a challenge, or they would say that's bad. Those things exist so we know what we want. That's what contrast is for. So experiencing contrast, what some might call a challenge, I knew instantly that the way that I could impact the world first was I had to be massively successful. And what I want to teach you today and your followers and everyone who's listening is I want to talk about 3 things. And I want to talk about the ability to create global impact through using resources. For example, in my bio that you read, talking about using social media to grow your business and make more money. That is the largest need in the business world. The number 1 request is help me get more customers, help me make more money, help me have more profits. Yeah. It's not really about the money, right? Because that's paper. Those are numbers. Those are ones and zeros in our bank accounts. It's what the money affords us to do. For example, every time I speak or every time I'm on a media interview, I donate a scholarship to a university student. So today, Chris, you're a part of that because of this interview today, someone gets a scholarship to go study at a university. Wow. That's impact. And that's what money affords us. The challenge with where people are with their relationship with money is they don't have a positive association. So early on, that's how I trained myself to do that. I started investing when I was 21 years old, and I started by a little bit at a time. I'm talking about like a few dollars a day, right? For a broke college kid, that was everything, right? But I did that so I could train myself and I could train that habit. Then when I was 25, I started my social media agency. So now I've given away my age. I've had my agency for 3 years, so I'm 28. And so far, as you mentioned in the bio, to date, we've helped 161 companies use social media to grow their business by of business on their marketing. That's a nutshell of the beginning of my journey. And the most important part of that is the global impact. 161 companies, that's like 161 of you. Remember our conversation last week? We were talking about your business, how you can reach more people. Let's think about that impact. For example, last week you had 6,000 views on this show. This week you're going for 7,500. So 161 companies, you would be one of the 161. But think about that impact. Think about that ripple effect. There's no way where we can measure how far that goes. From our conversation last week, if I'm able to help you reach more people and get more clients and be more successful, you're helping thousands of people. That's the power of impact. That's the power of having resources.
Yes, beautiful. And especially with social media, because it's so fast. Sharing and spreading and the viral effect happens so fast that it's almost like we can impact millions. We definitely are able to impact millions and millions of people overnight. It's crazy. It's awesome.
Yes, you mentioned earlier as you were talking to Brian, which by the way, Brian was fantastic. I love what he said at NLP. It's just good stuff. Good stuff. Got me so pumped up and ready for this. But you mentioned earlier about the Facebook wins, right? And how you have to share so you can reach more people. I remember when I was, most recently, I was invited to go speak to a group of business owners in Mississippi. And this was right before we had the election results. They wanted to know how social media was influencing the election and what to do about it. What are business owners supposed to do with the tides changing in the political environment? And here's what I told them. Regardless of the outcome, regardless of the science behind who wins, here is what's true. We are now all publishers. We are now all able to publish online our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. And whether you like it or not, that has influence. So you have to be very wise with what you share on the internet because that's going to go off. So, for example, like your content on your Facebook, you have over 5,000 followers, and you share brilliant, inspirational, funny content that's going to go out and create a positive impact. That is being a very good publisher.
Yes. It's a responsibility. I see the responsibility of it. I could be using this platform, this tool, as something just to do nonsense with, but that's not what I choose. I choose to get the most. I choose the maximum efficiency to squeeze every last drop out of everything that I do. Why do anything if I'm not going to give 110% to it or 100%? So that's absolutely critical, man. I love it, 100%.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow. Okay, cool. So tell us more about how you help these business owners understand and shift their mindset, because you do social media marketing consulting with them, but I'm sure you teach them a lot about global impact and about their financial mindset. So tell us a little bit more about what you might do with business owners and how that process goes about.
Sure. So the majority of my clients, we do the social media completely for them. So that means we manage their Facebook, we manage their Twitter, and the effort to get them their outcome. So everything is about an outcome. In our firm, we are 100% results guaranteed. So that means if someone uses us and they don't get the result that they want, they can ask for their money back. We have that money back guarantee because a lot of marketing people will say you can't guarantee results. That is such a lie and a misconception. And that's the challenge. Most marketing agencies are run by marketing people, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm actually not a professional marketer by trade. I'm not a very techie person at all. I'm a business person by trade that happened to stumble upon and create a marketing agency back in 2013 when I met one person who needed my help. And then it was forever changed. So what we do is we manage our social media to help them get more customers online, more leads, or whatever their outcome is. Sometimes it's not new customers. Sometimes it's branding. Sometimes it's the ability to reach more people. Sometimes it's about leaving a legacy. It doesn't matter what your outcome is. There is always a way to get it. because an outcome, a goal, that's a challenge with a goal. Because if your goal is to lose 20 pounds and you lose 16, you technically didn't hit your goal. However, that was the outcome. Your outcome was losing 16 pounds. Same thing with the internet. Same thing with getting more customers. I don't want to have a goal of how many we want to reach. We want to test and measure the outcome. Yes. Social media is the most powerful form of marketing because it's the only form of marketing where you can do what we're actually doing right now. Right now, we're having a back and forth conversation. Mm-hmm. All forms of marketing are important. Every form of marketing has its place. There are challenges with billboards, radio, television. You cannot speak in back and forth, and our marketing is changing. So TV is changing. Kids are using Hulu, Netflix, Amazon. We're not having the traditional commercials anymore. So social media is the number one most powerful form of advertising, which is why when we started 3 years ago, we've grown so quickly. It was a perfect storm. Facebook went public at 2010, and then we started our agency at 2013. People were still learning how to use it, and then we grew extremely fast because it was the right time. We had the right tools. We had the right understandings and principles of business, and so we've been able to help a lot of people. Now, you also asked about mindset. So let's talk about the mindset of needing more customers. When you think about needing more customers, what do you think that mindset is leading you to?
Lack. Well, like needing a place of need is like lack versus right. I'm attracting and there's more than enough.
Right. And that's the challenge, and especially with marketing. Some people have some misconceptions about marketing. For example, I've heard I need a 1 to a 5% ratio on my marketing. So if I invest $1 in marketing, I need to get $5 back. That's actually not what I teach. I teach 1 to 1. If you invest $1 in marketing and you get $1 back, it's all worth it.
Yes.
Is one customer, the value that customer over time is going to compensate for whatever you've spent in marketing. We don't want to have these rules that limit us and think, okay, we have to have a 1 to a 3 or a 1 to a 5. Make sure your marketing achieves an outcome because there's a financial value to everything. Your 6,000 views, there is a financial value to that. Yes. And over time, you'll be able to measure, here was the financial value. So with our clients, I have to teach them about their principles. What our agency does differently than most is every single new client that comes on, they all get to spend 1 hour with me, and we talk about the concepts behind marketing. So the marketing for my client, but I also teach them the foundation behind it. Now, the reason I do that is very important. It's so they know how to measure success, because you cannot manage what you cannot measure. And so when I teach my clients how to measure success and measure their success online, they're able to see the results of what we're doing. So when you work with someone, whether it's a social media consultant, whether it's a business coach, make sure you understand how to measure that success so you can make sure that you're getting the return that you're seeking.
It's beautiful. So you teach people to, first of all, look at the numbers. What are the numbers? What's the outcome? What is it that you're committed to? Are we in alignment? Are you looking for some kind of astronomical 1 to 1,000 return, and that's like right. Just unrealistic, or what's the outcome? And then you measure the numbers week after week after week. Are we moving towards that? Do we need to shift the outcome? Do we need to adjust our expectations? Testing, and through that process of refinement, that mindset is developed of reaching that outcome.
Yes. And the mindset of what we're doing, because the ROI of social media exists today. It also exists 5 years from now because of the impact that you're putting in. So, for example, one of our clients had a singing competition in Austin, which is the music capital of Texas. It's like the Nashville, right? And the winner of that singing competition, we were hired to do the social media. Social media was the number one generator of ticket sales. So no surprise there, because that was our outcome. That's how we roll. That's what we do. However, the guy who won the singing competition was also selected for a hit TV show called America's Got Talent. Ooh. Now, let's take a look at that. Our goal was to sell tickets for the singing competition. Then he was scouted by a TV show to be on America's Got Talent. So that was already a win, that he got to go to LA to interview, and then he got on the show. He was on this last season of America's Got Talent. That's the power of social media, and that's the power of impact. And for example, when you asked me to be on your show and talk about money, the challenge with people and their relationship with money is they don't understand the impact. They don't understand what $1 could do if multiplied and given to someone else. And that's why one of the big things I want your followers to take away today is a concept that may be a little challenging, because would you agree that most people think the love of money is called greed?
Yes.
Yes. So people have a really interesting relationship with that. And that's in my studies and my research of working with hundreds of people and how they feel about money in my own life is because most people associate money with pain. They think about money and they think about bills. So for example, well, you probably not be a good example for this because the way your mind is, would you agree that most people, when it's time to pay a bill and they open up the little envelope, would you agree that most people feel some type of pain?
Yeah, dread, worry, anxiety. Yes, totally.
Yes, they don't even want to open the envelope. Here we just finished tax season, which is like super exciting for a bunch of us. Having multiple companies, I file multiple tax returns. So that's a lot of fun. Yeah. Let's take that example. So most people, when they open an envelope, they feel some type of dread or pain. Mm-hmm. When I find out how much I pay the IRS, what do you guess that I feel?
Can I honestly, I know you celebrate, man. You're like, yay!
Yeah. So I feel deep gratitude. Okay. Yes. Now I'm not saying I'm looking forward to paying taxes. No one loves to pay their taxes, but it's about the way that they shift. Yes. In my private consulting practice, where people hire me to consult with them on their business, the first thing they always want to talk about is money. How do I get more of that green stuff? And I say, look, I'm an investor. I'm an entrepreneur. I will teach you all the physical strategies. That's the easy stuff. But first, I have to change everything you feel about money. Because when I receive a bill in the mail, I'm excited. Now, that doesn't mean I'm like jumping for joy. Let's be real here. But I'm excited because I'm grateful. I love paying my cell phone bill because it allows me to talk to people all over the world. I've got this global plan where I can go to all these countries, and my phone works in every single country I go to. Awesome. It's phenomenal. Is it more expensive? Of course it is, but I can reach more people. When I have to pay a mortgage for one of my rental properties, I'm excited and grateful because someone's living in one of my homes and they get to have a life. It's amazing. So here's the first thing that I want to teach today. The love of money is not greed, because money equals life. So let's talk about the scholarship I'll give today. In recognition of being on your show, I'm going to give a scholarship for someone to go to the university for one day. Wow. One day, they don't have to worry about money for their school. That's life. Because they now have the resources to learn and to be educated and to go out. That's powerful. The first thing I always tell people when they ask me about money advice or wanting to have more help with money or make more of that green stuff, they say, well, what do you do? What would be your advice? The very first thing I share with them is I have a very positive relationship with money. Yeah. I have an affinity for money. It's not greed. It's just like you'd have an affinity for a friend and feel that love for a friend. That's how I feel about wealth. Because when I was 21 years old, I started investing with $25 a week. Now that's $100 a month. And that for a broke college kid, that was everything. Yeah. That was all of my extra money. In fact, I had to go find ways to get that $25 per week. That was when I was 21 years old. But I knew if I could figure out how to be wealthy and successful, that I could help more people. And I set up an automatic draft. So whether I liked it or not, this $25 a week was coming out. Yeah. Do you think I overdrafted a couple of times while I had the $25 coming out?
Yes.
Yes. And so what that taught me is, okay, now I have to go be creative. How can I go find $25? How can I go add value to someone to get one? Every time I got comfortable, okay, so this is back I was in college. The broke college kid, $25 per week, which is $100 per month. Sounds like a whole lot. It felt like a whole lot. But the moment I got comfortable, where I was like getting the hang of $25 and it was becoming easy, what do you think I did?
Raised it up. Put more.
Yes, I raised it. I went to 25 to 30 to 35. There was more overdrafts, but I always was in a state of, okay, how can I create it? Because there is no scarcity of creativity. There is no scarcity of good ideas. In the same way, there is no scarcity of abundance. And people don't feel that because they haven't experienced that in their lives. They have felt what you and I have felt with money, contrast. Going through a time where you didn't have enough and it didn't feel good. And when you know how to master that and change your relationship with money, for example, one of the first things I teach my clients to do is to love paying your cell phone bill. The cell phone is such a good example because it allows us to be in communication 24/7 with other people.
Yes.
The second thing after that is understanding how they feel about money in their relationship. Have you ever heard that in order to have a good relationship with someone else, you have to have a good relationship with yourself?
Yep.
Yeah. Same thing with money. In order to create wealth and success, we can't be coming from, I don't like this struggle, I hate not feeling this, I want to go out and get more money. We have to come from a place of power. I want to do more. When I was 21 years old and started investing, I knew if I could learn how to invest and become financially successful, looking at heroes like Warren Buffett, right? And Tony Robbins, these fantastic entrepreneurs who had mastered how to invest. If I could figure out how to do the same thing, I could have fantastic impact. By the time I graduated college, which that was at 25, I was investing hundreds per week. Now, that didn't come easy. That didn't come because I started out with hundreds per week. And so the second thing I want to teach you and your followers today is start where you are right now. A lot of people think, wow, 21 years old, you were so lucky to get that so soon. Warren Buffett started investing when he was 11. So in my mind, I was already 10 years behind.
Right.
So there might be someone who's in their 40s, their 50s, or 60s thinking, well, it's too late for me. It's not. You have to bloom where you're planted. There is no scarcity of abundance. You have to have those habits and do something every single day towards your goals. So whatever you can afford. Back in college when I was 21, it was $25 per week. That's where I began. By the time I graduated at 25, I was investing hundreds. That's 10 times the amount of what I started with. So whether it's $10 per week, $20 per week, maybe you're doing a little bit there. Maybe you can start with 100 per week. Wherever it is, set up an auto draft, make it a habit. Whatever happens, do not change that. Do not cancel that. Always go out and find other ways to add value to people.
That's so beautiful, man. So beautiful. I love it. I love it. You got covered so many great points in there. And I wrote down, change the way you feel about money. Money equals life. Love paying your cell phone bills. Start where you are. These are all great tips and practical actions that you can do. So if you're out there and you're watching this, you're a viewer out there, type in practical because this is practical stuff. It's stuff you can implement right now. I love practical. Type in practical into the comment box, and Christopher is going to keep sharing this wisdom because this is gold. So Christopher, what else do you have for us? What else do we need to know about shifting this relationship with money and creating more impact?
You know, it's very good that you asked that. I love that you chose the word practical for people to comment with, because this is exactly what it is. Remember, this is not airy-fairy, woo-woo, feel-good stuff. This is practical stuff. And it's not only worked with me, but it's worked with hundreds of our clients, and it's worked with people all over the world. Success leaves clues. So if you're sitting there and you don't have what you want, and that's often where people, when they're asking for money advice, they don't have what they want. They're not where they want to be. And we have to look at the things on how it's going to help us get there. Not think of all by myself, and we always want to have mentors. Your last guest talked about having an accountability coach. What a phenomenal concept. Always having mentors and coaches, using your friends to support your goals. For example, my friends and family, we have a lot of clarity on what my goals are and how it surrounds global impact. When I started my agency, my social media company 3 years ago, I set a goal to help 1 million people in the business world. Because what would our world look like if we had 1 million people in business doing just a little bit better? I mean, I didn't set out to set the world on fire and to leave this major legacy. I just wanted to have 1 million impacts because everyone could be doing just a little bit better. Imagine our American economy. Imagine our global economy. So for example, like the student who gets a scholarship today because of this interview, that's an impact that's going to not only with them, but they're going to be able to learn and be educated today. What they do with that impact, once that goes off, I can't measure that anymore. Right. Since I started my agency 3 years ago, we've had over 15,000 impacts. And that's just that first thing. So that's how I measure my impact. And the reason that success comes so easy to some people is because they have a really strong drive. And now you're going to have a guest on today talking about that and talking about mindset and everything and nothing. People say mindset is everything. And a lot of people think, well, that's woo-woo, that's airy-fairy stuff. You and I are a living testament to that.
Yes.
When I was 21 years old, I started investing. By 25, I started an agency. By 27, I started investing in real estate. Here I am at 28. I own multiple companies, have multiple investments, and that's not on accident. It's not because I got lucky. Okay, we're talking about creating habits in the very beginning because of contrast. Because of experiencing something and saying, you know what, I don't like that experience. I don't like not having money. And my desire to change the world. There is something that before every opportunity that I speak with someone or speak on a media interview or speak in a seminar, one of my friends, Paul Dunn, who owns B1G1, it's an organization I partner with for our philanthropic giving. If you go to my website at smminternational.com, that's SMM, like Social Media Marketing International, I have a page called Business for Good. And what Paul says is before he talks, he reminds himself for them, for them. And when he said that, I said, Paul, I am stealing that from you because that is everything I'm doing. Before I sit with a client, before we had our phone call last week, before I got on this interview, I think for them. What is it that I can do for them? What is it that I can say for them? What can I do that's going to help change and impact, even if it's one person? So last week you had 6,000 views. This week you're going to have 7,500. That's a lot of opportunities. I'm just looking for one person to say, you know what? I'm going to do what Christopher suggested. I'm going to start off with $25 per week, or I'm going to start with $100 per week, or I'm going to start doing social media, or I'm going to start enjoying paying my cell phone bill because it allows me to talk to everyone at any time. Yes. Even if it's one person, this whole conversation, we can't even measure that impact. That's powerful. And that's the ability to help people all over the world.
I wanted to address that because when I started creating this marathon about 10 weeks ago, 12 weeks ago, the show, my only concern was that one person's life was changed, and that's perfect. You know, like I'm cool. Like the rest is okay.
It's all bonus. Yeah.
Yes. So I totally resonate with that.
One person makes the whole difference.
Yeah.
That's what I tell every single client. They get to sit with me at the very beginning of their campaign, and I teach them about marketing. I say, look, I've talked about helping 161 businesses and wanting to help 1 million people. The most important person is you, because that all starts with you. Because if I'm able to help a Chris Burns be more successful, and you're reaching thousands of people per week, you're reaching thousands of people on your videos, that's major impact. And to be here in that position, that's a very humbling experience. We all live by a hierarchy of values, and we all have these values of what our life is determined by, and my highest value is to be of service. That's above everything, is to be of service to others. And that's such an honor, even to be here on your show. I'm so honored that you asked me to be on, to be with your thousands of fans. So excited because you're doing phenomenal work. And what you're doing, the guests you're having on, even if they can't, it's like when I saw the 12-hour marathon, I thought, okay, I can't even do 12 minutes. How am I going to, watch a marathon like this? But even when I was watching Brian Kelly, he was talking about NLP and talking about making it happen. If someone could just hear that makes all the difference.
Yes. And that's really what we have to do, like you said, is start where we are and use what we have and start taking action. Start moving forward, because as long as you're moving forward, as long as you're moving towards an outcome, which I really love, man. I've been talking about it a lot. I talked about it this morning at the very beginning of the show because it's something that I had lost my focus on in terms of using it, utilizing outcome, the specific language of what is the outcome that we want for this call, what is the outcome that you want for this call, so that it would be the most valuable for you. I borrowed it, and I'm totally going to use it forever. Forever, dude.
Yeah, it's just like our phone call last week after the hey, hello, how you doing? The first question I ask anyone is, what is the best outcome? Because whether I have 5 minutes or 15 or 50 minutes with you, no matter what, I can achieve that outcome. You just have to know where you're wanting to go in the beginning. Yes. And it's the same thing with wealth. A lot of people who desire for more money have actually never even written down where they want to go. Write down what your outcome is. What is your net worth goal? What is your income goal? Because without that in mind, you can't even begin, even if it sounds far off. And I'm not one to discourage people from making big goals. In fact, I want people to push themselves, because every time I got comfortable with my investment, I loved it. So every time I got to a point where it's like, okay, I'm managing the $25 per week, bam, I would go up to 30. Then to the point of when I graduated college, I was investing hundreds of dollars per week, still a broke college kid. Now, how I did that was because of habit and creating value. Same thing with your money. And people, that when people hear the word budget, they kind of cringe because that means bad things. That means I'm going to have to restrict myself on what I do. It's not about restriction. It's about liberation. And that's why I say money equals life. That's why Warren Buffett has a rule. First rule of investing, don't lose money. I say that in my businesses all the time because if I'm losing money, if I'm not profitable, I can't help more people. That poses a problem.
Yes.
I've always got to be profitable. I've always got to make money so I can go out and help more people. The love of that impact, the ability to give scholarships away, the ability to give internet access to children in third world countries, that drives me. And that's why you go out and get the money and you go out and create the value so you can help more people. Really, there are so many ways to impact, whether you donate $1, $100, $1,000, or $100,000. Wherever you are, that's like where start where you are, bloom where you're planted, because where you are right now is perfect and evolving, and everything you've ever done in your life has brought you to this moment now. And if you can make a decision right now that, yes, I want to impact this world, I want to make a difference, and I want to master my wealth, because the people who've had some of the most phenomenal impact in this world also brought a ton of wealth. If you think about Bill Gates, created the software that's powered hundreds of millions of computers all across the world. Yeah. What he's done from a philanthropic perspective is incredible. His foundation and what he's done in third world countries, I mean, that is what we should aspire to be, that type of impact. And that's not scary or intimidating. That is liberating to know what he has, what Bill Gates has, what Warren Buffett has, what Chris Burns has, what Christopher Wick has, is inside of all of us. And we can start, whether that's by giving $1 away or by giving 50 cents to a child in a third world country, you can start anywhere.
Yeah, and it's building the habit, building the consistency, the programming, and associating good feelings with it too. Like you said, celebrating, being grateful when we're able to take the action that normally most people, other people, have a negative association, a negative feeling, negative programming with it. So if you're out there watching, how is your programming set up? And where you're at now is perfect. Where you're at right now is exactly where you're supposed to be. And where do you go from here?
Yeah, absolutely. And with where you are right now, if it's not your favorite place, all you have to do is decide to change it. Yeah. All you have to say is, I'd like to think differently about that. My coach posed a great question to me a few weeks ago. And my coach is the #1 action coach in the world. His name is Doug Winnie. That's a huge plug for him. He's a phenomenal guy. And he posed a question from one of his coaches. That's the impact of coaches to coaches to coaches. Yes. He asked me the question, what thought or action could I take that would add value to this moment now? What thought or action could I take that would add value to this moment now? So, for example, when I had to go pay my taxes, I was on my way to the bank to go make a wire to the IRS. And driving on my way to the bank from my office, I thought, this is fantastic. It was the most I've ever paid into the IRS, and so that's something I get to celebrate because that's a good sign. Yeah. And I'm excited to do that, and excited I have that ability, because there are people who don't get that ability. There are people hoping for refunds, and I'm not in that position anymore. I used to be in that place, and when I was in college, I hoped for refunds all the time. But the change of the way of how wealth works and the ability to help more people, when I go and I proudly walk into the bank and my banker asks me, Christopher, what would you like to do today? I'd like to wire this amount of money to the IRS. And that's exciting, and I get to do that today, and I'm so grateful for that. And I talk about that very openly. And the way that I speak about money, I tell people, look, people think the love of money is greed, and I don't want to objectify that. I don't want to say that that's bad. I do want to challenge your belief system with money. I want to challenge everything that you've ever known, because most people have challenges with money. Most people, and I'm not saying that as all people have challenges with money, but most people have to learn. I used to be one of those people. You may have been one of those people. I can guarantee someone who's listening right now may have a challenge with money and the ability to master money, become wealthy. Whether you want to be an entrepreneur, whether you want to be an executive in your corporation and be a fantastic employee, or if you want to be like me and be an investor, first you have to master how you feel about money and see the impact. Because I saw at a very young age, if I can master money, I could really change people, and I could really influence lives. When I give a scholarship for someone to go to school, that warms my heart, because that's going to change everything. I remember when I went to school, I got scholarships, and now I was able to go and learn and study and learn business, and then I started companies. That created that for me, and when I pass it on to other people, that continues to go on. And wherever you are, whether you have a job or whether you're unemployed or whether you have your company or you're a solopreneur or an investor, wherever you are, you can have that impact. Now, it just starts with asking yourself, what thought or action could I take to add value to this moment now?
Is there some examples that you can give of what people might say to that question, some answers that they might give?
Sure, absolutely. I'll take the example of your show. Okay. So here we've got thousands of views. And so we could get real intimidated and think, okay, 7,000 people are watching this. What am I going to say that's going to make a difference to anyone? Or action you could take right now is to ask yourself the question, or to think about, okay, what could I say that would help one person? Or for example, for your clients who may be business owners and they get off a call, and let's say they didn't make the sale. Let's say they didn't close it. And they could think bad about themselves, and they could think, okay, I didn't get it. I didn't close the deal. Instead of thinking about that, they could have the thought of, well, I know I added value to that person in some way, and that no just brings me closer to a yes, and I'm just going to keep going. The way that we think about, and this is what I'm learning right now, the way that we think about something that just happened is not our thought. We have to train the way that we behave, and we have to train how we think. So to change a thought actually requires very little effort. You just have to make that decision. So instead of walking away thinking, okay, I didn't close that deal, you walk away and think, okay, I know my advice to that person will have some impact. I've learned from that because I'm going to be a better closer. I'm going to learn how to better influence people. Also, I know I'm one step closer to the yes. Or when another thing that really gets people, so there's two big issues I've identified with people, and that's one is money, and the second is usually health and fitness. And that's because of all the emotional attachment. We've got a lot of emotional baggage with money because we learned it from our parents, they learned it from their parents, they learned it from their parents who were in the Great Depression, and now here we are in a totally different society. Right. Same thing with health and fitness. You don't have to be a competitive athlete today. You don't have to be an Olympian today, but what thought or action could you take right now to add value to this moment? Could you opt for water, something little like that? Now, I know you're really into fitness. I'm really into fitness. I feel that fitness fuels the success of my companies, and those start with little decisions. I didn't start out being this fit. And what happened wasn't because of an accident. I started with little things. I started exercising 15 minutes a day and went up. So are you noticing a pattern here? I did little itty-bitty decisions. I didn't wake up one day and pound on my chest and say, I'm going to be the best person I can possibly be. I kind of just got my ish together one step at a time.
Yes. Yeah, man, well, it's like for me, I started Toastmasters, like 4 years ago, and I learned how to communicate. I learned how to give feedback. I learned how to give a presentation in front of people, and it's been, this is what I created. I get to speak on stage. I get to interview people, and this is where I'm at right now. Imagine where I'm going to be in a year, in 2 years, in 5 years, because we keep taking these steps. And what I really liked about what can I do to add value in this moment right now is it's in alignment with some kind of higher commitment, some kind of outcome, right? That's like, okay, I see the goal. What can I do right now? What's the one thing that I can do, one step? And it doesn't have to be this, Herculean task or action, but it's even thinking about it, even asking ourselves the question gets us thinking and brainstorming, creating solutions, attracting the right people, the right resources into our life. And that's really where the magic happens, is when your thinking is in alignment with where you want to go.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. And what a testament that you started Toastmasters 4 years ago.
Yes.
And here you are now with this show. Yes. And here you are now with you on stage. You ought to go back to that Toastmasters club and say, like, wow, look at what happened. And that is a small, tiny thing, Chris. Here, you've answered your own question. 4 years ago, went to a Toastmasters club, and now look at you. So anyone who's listening, whether it's by going to a Toastmasters club or starting with $25 per week, you don't know where it's going to happen in a matter of years. And a lot of people here, and I thought about this before we started our interview today, online there is so much, and I'm going to be very honest, there's so much crap about getting rich quick. Yeah. And you can definitely get rich quickly, but I do not, in my lifetime, I have not experienced something where you got massively rich like overnight. And if you even hear my story, I started at 21. And by 25, I was investing hundreds. And 25 is when I started my agency. And 27 is when I started investing in real estate. And here I am at 28 with multiple companies, multiple investments. That did not happen overnight, and it wasn't sexy. $25 a week was not sexy. And so where the stuff that we see on the internet and the getting rich quick, we've got to be really careful. And we've got to know that that's marketing. And now those programs might be beneficial. There's been programs I've taken where they had some type of clever marketing, and it was actually very beneficial. We've got to be careful with how that makes us feel, because people will feel like they've been left behind. They'll hear about these really young success stories and think, well, I'm in my 40s. I'm too late. I can't have that anymore. There is no get rich quick. If there is, I have not found out about it. And I've done massive amounts of research, and I've worked with hundreds of companies, and I still haven't found it. So
you know what I do? I give the universe, God, whatever source creator, the space. Like, I'm open to that. Hey, if that exists, bring it to me. I'm ready, baby. And until that point, I'm gonna put in some freaking serious work, baby. I'm like going for it.
Action. And the reason why action is important, is it okay if I get a little deep with you for a second?
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Okay. The only reason why action is important is because of what action does to our mindset. Because it is very possible to be in such alignment with a thought and with an energy source that you can create massive results instantly. Most of us can't condition our conscious mind like that, so we have to take action. It's the same way in health and fitness. Do you really lose weight because of the exercise, or are you losing weight? Your alignment, what your goals are. Yes. We don't know. We really don't know. The same thing with money. And that with the get rich quick, I'm sure maybe there's someone who's just spiritually evolved where they can snap their fingers and millions falls into their lap. Now, I've really got a very positive relationship with money. I'm not there yet. I look forward to getting there. I don't have that evolution. The same thing with our creations and our business and impact of first starting with how we feel about what we're doing. That's why the first task with my private consulting clients is not to talk about the investment strategies. I can definitely tell you that in the next session. First, where we have to begin is how you feel about it. Because action, you can only have successful action if you're in alignment with what you feel. Tony Robbins says action is the most important step in success. I absolutely believe that. There is one word I'd like to add to that. Yes. Inspired action is the most important step in success. Yes. Because you can act all day. For example, if you're having trouble with sales, you could cold call all day long until your face turns blue. You can make hundreds of calls. But if you're really efforting and if you're really trying and you're really pushing yourself to do that, you're not really in a good space. Versus if you said, okay, I'm going to connect with 5 people I've talked to in the past about my product or my service, and I'm going to have a really positive conversation. You'll probably have more results from those 5 people instead of those hundreds of calls that you made in your efforting. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Right. Absolutely, and I appreciate going there. I love the deep conversation, and you know, I've taken a training in development. I'm curious to hear your opinion on this. That says it doesn't matter what your feelings are, because our word, like it's called landmark. I don't know if you've heard of it, but our word is more important than how we feel. I'm curious on your opinion on, because I feel like feelings and energy is everything. Like if you don't have that in alignment, then you can say whatever you want, but it doesn't matter. But they teach, you know, our word has that power. So I'm curious if you've experienced, you know, when you said the words and you didn't feel in alignment, but like because you have a strong relationship with your word, which I'm almost positive that you do, because you're just that kind of an integrity guy. Like, what's your opinion on that?
Well, I love that question, first off, and that's such a good question. I'll give you an example, and I'll ask you something. So if you woke up today and you told yourself, man, today is going to be so busy, how do you think that would feel energy-wise? Yeah, kind of yucky. Okay, and then let's ask ourselves, if we woke up and if we said, man, today's going to be so productive. We only changed one word, because I said, man, today's going to be so busy. Man, today's going to be so productive. That one change, even if we're not there yet, and this is what I teach my clients in our private coaching, that even if you're not there yet, saying things can help you get in alignment. The power of affirmations is not in the words. The power in affirmations is getting to that place of feeling. So remember, we've talked about 3 things I wanted to cover today. I haven't revealed the third thing, but the first thing was money is life. The second thing is start where you are, bloom where you're planted, and whatever action you take. The third thing, and this is the most important thing, is that you can do, have, or be anything you want. And the challenge is a lot of people with their dreams are so big and it scares them. They don't know how they're going to get there. So doing an affirmation of I am a millionaire doesn't empower them. So I tell them, okay, let's change that just a little bit. Instead of saying I'm a millionaire and then your brain says, no, you're not.
BS.
Yeah, no, you're not. That's BS. That's crap. Instead of saying that, could you say something like I'm a millionaire in training?
Ooh.
Could you say something like, I am learning the strategies of what makes millionaires? And that changes the empowering. And one of my favorite clients says, whenever she wants to do something and she's just got to get it out of the way, she'll say, it doesn't have to mean anything. It doesn't have to mean anything. Just do it. And I love that. And I tell that to people. It doesn't have to mean anything. But what you choose to say in your words, one of my favorite authors says, your word is your wand. And I believe that 110%. Because when you say things to yourself, remember, it's about the thinking. So if you walk off stage and you think, oh, I didn't do very well, or if you thought, if I change one person's life, that makes all the difference. Same thing with how we feel about where we are. And when I say you can be, do, or have whatever you want, that's true liberation. So when we're talking about wealth, and that's what we've talked a lot about today, when people think about where they want to be financially, a lot of people want to be a millionaire. So when they say things like, I want to be a millionaire, saying I want to be a millionaire, that creates a space of scarcity and lack. But saying something like, I am a millionaire in training, or I am learning how to be a millionaire, I'll share my affirmation is, I am a billionaire in training. To me, that sounds really fun because I'm learning how to do these things I want to do. And I do these experiments with money. I try these different investments. I try these different ventures. So I'm having fun along the way. I feel no lack of not being a billionaire yet because I am a billionaire in training. It's almost like I've got these billionaire training wheels on, and that's very exciting. That's a lot of fun. So does that show you how powerful your word can be?
Yes. Oh my God. I love that. I'm a billionaire in training. I
love it. Yep. I said that this morning in my daily routine. I had these affirmations, and one of my affirmations, I am a billionaire in training.
Oh my gosh, this is awesome. Christopher Michael Wick, you are a superstar, man. This is one of the best, obviously best. I was so excited for this interview. Okay, so what else? What else do we need to walk away with? What else do we need to know to make sure that we cemented this mindset? Practical action steps. What else? Let's wrap this up with an awesome bow.
Yeah. So here, the most important step to action is inspired action. The most important step to success is inspired action. That's what I like to say. So 3 things we've discussed today. Money is life. The love of money is not greed. Having an affinity for money and the changes that it creates in the global sphere is powerful, and that's endearing. I have an affinity for money. So money is life. Have a very positive relationship with money. Love what you do, whether it's paying your cell phone because you get to talk with people all over the world, or paying the IRS. Second thing, start where you are now. You don't have to start with investing hundreds of dollars per week. You don't have to max out your 401k contribution. You can start with $10 per week, $25 per week. It took me 4 years to go from $25 per week to hundreds of dollars per week. Over a 10 times growth. Only took 4 years, which is kind of funny because it took you 4 years to get from Toastmasters to speaking on stage.
Yes.
And the third thing, you can be, do, and have whatever you want. And you ought to give yourself permission to have those goals. Because the thought of becoming a billionaire might be really intimidating to someone. The thought of becoming a millionaire might be intimidating. But say things to yourself that empower you and that make it fun. And choose your words very carefully, like you brought up and with what you've learned in your education. Make things fun. It doesn't have to be something serious. What we're doing here in this lifetime is very serious work that we feel most time, but also the most important thing is to enjoy what you're doing, to enjoy the process, to enjoy saving money, to enjoy even if you have that automatic draft and then you go overdraft because you forgot about your $25, go out and quickly get it and put it in the account so there's no fees. It's going to be okay. But those 3 things, money is life, start where you are now, and you can be, have, and do whatever you want.
That is so beautiful, man. I love it, Christopher. So how can people take the next step with you and stay up to date with you? What's their next step?
Well, I would love your followers to reach out to me if they need my help, if they want to grow their companies and find more customers online. If they don't feel like they're using social media the right way or not at all or not good enough, we can help. We do the work for you. My website is SMM International. That's like SMM, like Social Media Marketing International. You can reach out and have a free strategy session with myself or one of my social media managers. I love to do that. You know what that's like, where we talk about strategy. It's not like woo-woo brainstorming stuff, you'll walk away with 3 strategies. You'll notice I keep things in threes because that's really easy. Tony Robbins says it's 1, 2, 3 mini. So I keep things in threes. So you'll walk away with 3 strategies. Also, if you reach out to me and say that you heard this interview, I would be happy to give you a copy of my best-selling book, How to Use Social Media to Grow Your Business and Make More Money. It became a bestseller in the United States and Canada in 48 hours when I released it last year. How do you think I promoted it?
Social media.
Social media. So not only do I talk the talk, but I walk the walk.
Yes.
So 2 special things for your followers and your listeners. If you would like to have a social media strategy session with myself or one of my managers, reach out to me. Also reach out to me and let me know you heard this interview and you get a free copy of my book.
Oh my gosh, this is awesome, man. I love you. You're a rock star, dude. Keep up the great work, Christopher, and we look forward to seeing you back on a future episode if it works out. And dude, just keep impacting people because you're doing so much good, and you're really spreading this education that not many people are talking about. I think a lot of us might know that there's something off with our relationship with money. We don't feel powerful with it. Some people don't, but you are doing something that's so good for the world and empowering people to empower others, create more ripple effects in the world and more impact. So thank you for everything that you do, man.
Thank you very much. It was an honor. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome. And you have the best day ever.
Absolutely. Rock on.
All right, Christopher. We'll see you, man.